Hello everyone and welcome back to our training here on Tuesdays on discussing the services that we want to build up in our businesses so we can better serve our clients. We talk about the pie of real estate, focusing on resale, distressed, and new homes. And us as brokers, we have to elevate our services in each area. When we elevate our services, we actually do good to our clients and are able to direct them in the proper way to go in the transaction and the transaction that is taking place. Our vision is to better serve our clients in their immediate need with excellence. Our goal is that us, brokers, we can build our services and service our clients with excellence. In these trainings, we're going to focus on resale, we're going to focus on distressed, we're going to focus on new home sales. Why? Because that really sums up our production transaction volume. Every week, we talk about the thought of the day, kind of like the wisdom that is needed to run a successful business. And I really like the book that Gary Keller wrote, The One Thing. And today I want to just focus on what is that one thing that you have to do. So for 2024, what is the one thing you have to do for the year? Look at your business, look at your business model, look at your clientele. What is the one thing that you have to do this year? What is the one thing that you have to do this month or this quarter? This one thing that you do this quarter will impact your fall market or your spring market or your summer market. What is the one thing you want to do this month? Like on Thanksgiving, there's an client appreciation. People want to give thanks for the clients in December. What is the one thing you want to do to enhance your business in that month? And then when we talk about the day, you get up in the morning and you got to think about what is that one thing that you need to accomplish in your 8-hour or 10-hour work. What is that one thing that will make this day different or business strategy different from the previous day and will prep you for tomorrow? So the one thing is very crucial because we do get clustered with so many things to achieve every single day. But when you really simplify it, maybe if I just talk to that seller, maybe if I just talk to that buyer, maybe if I just solve this one problem that has been emotionally dragging me for 30 or 40 days, or maybe I just need to have that one conversation with my business partner. And once I have that conversation, so many other things will settle. And it's amazing when you start implying that one thing and how much that one thing will set other things to put in place. We always talk about we live in a fairly chaotic world, and our goal every day is to, put some order at least on one sector of the chaos that exists personally in our lives and the lives of our clients. So the one thing, what is the one thing you need to achieve today? What is the one thing you need to achieve this month? What is the one thing you should achieve this quarter? What is the one thing you should achieve in 2024? And then set the goals going forward. What is the one thing you want to achieve in 2025? And I like that some businesses, they actually just use a slogan or they use a word, what they want to describe that year. Why? Because that's the one thing they want to build everything else around, that one word or maybe one slogan. So the thought of the day is, what is that one thing that you have to do to move and propel your business going forward? Previous lesson, we talked about the residential market. We talked about learning product. And we talked about how we have to do a service to our sellers by understanding what needs to take place with that product line. How do you take care of the roof? How do you take care of the siding? How do you take care of the windows? We talked about applying subcontractors to the pool of business and surrounding your seller with the opportunity to get everything in line. Working on your seller and being a good service to them by knowing subcontractors who can help bring your seller's home to the next level. We talked a lot about how to facilitate subcontractors, how to talk to them, how to have the A list of subcontractors. When you talk to that subcontractor and when you call them, you know that subcontractor will be at that seller's house today or tomorrow, but not 2 weeks from today, because your subcontractor pool is a representative of your business. So how your subs work, that's how you work. They either make you look bad or they make you look really, really good. The training of the day. We're going to talk about servicing investors. And again, investors are people who are considering saving aside funds for growth, whether they want a 1 exit, 2 exit, 5 exit, 20x, it doesn't matter, but they're looking that money makes money. And I always say the simple way for you to bridge into that world is go to your local bank. Because a bank holds a lot of money, and it holds a lot of money of other people's money, not necessarily their own money. And the people who service these financial pools, the commercial sector, the residential sector, the business sector in that local bank, what do they deal with on a daily basis? They deal with money. And what I did in my early career is I started to get to know these people in the bank. I talked to the teller, I talked to the business developer. Why? Because these people look at money all day long. People park their money in banks. And whether the bank itself is going to give them a good return, or sometimes the bank has programs that they offer to clients. But you want to go into a network where there are people who have money or investors, and they're looking to do something with their money. So what brings the network? Who are these people? Usually they're CPAs, usually they're wealth advisors, usually they're stockbrokers, then there's networks for investors. So you need to go out there and start talking to people who surround themselves with money. These are the CPAs. Why? Because anytime a person moves money around, they want to understand what tax bracket, do we move the money this year or we move the money next year? How are we going to move this money within the context of taxes? Again, investors are not looking to make a lot of money sometimes on their money. Maybe they're looking to make 3, 4, 5%. Others, they want a higher risk, so they go after the 12, 14% return on investment. But what I'm saying is all of these investors want to make money on money. And the reason that they're going down and sitting with CPAs is because usually they have another job, whether they're a doctor, a lawyer, another CPA firm, a business owner, and they're looking to start floating their investment portfolio. So they sit down with their CPA. So it's really important that you and we go to these networks where all these CPAs meet. Why? Because just like your bank, your local bank person, just like the CPA, what do they see all day long? They see numbers and they see money coming through companies, coming through investment portfolios. You want to talk about wealth advisors. You want to go as a broker, meet these wealth advisors. Why? Because oftentimes real estate is part of people's portfolio. It could be 10%, 20%, maybe some people, like myself, leverage 90% of their investments into real estate. And they love real estate as their portfolio. They're stockbrokers and then networking investors. So investors like to make money. And we have to understand, I call it the language of money. And I oftentimes use this example. It's like the piano. Oftentimes, if you sit down on the piano, all you see is white and black notes. And you're oftentimes, well, this could be pretty simple. There's a black note and a white note. But when you start to study the structure of the piano, when you start harmony and melody and chords and songs and complex songs and fast songs and slow songs, when you start to learn the variety of what can happen with this black and white note, things get a lot more exciting. Well, the investor world and the money world is the same thing. For some people, they look at it and it's just like black and white. But the people who spend more and more time, they understand the variety and the layers and the opportunity that exists in capital, in an investment world. And again, we have to start services and we have to start to equip ourselves with services that cater to investors. Because the minute your home buyer buys the second home, that would be an investment. The minute your family trust or a family member decides to buy another or second or third home, that's an investment. And we need to equip ourselves and understand how to help facilitate this. We need to understand how market cycle work in real estate, that there's a 5-year cycle, that there's a 10-year cycle. Depends on your market, what is happening, and how much money people are truly making in your real estate market. How much money are the investors making in your real estate market? This is the language of money. We have to first study, then get equipped, work our way into the network, and eventually study the language and then study the services. So again, if your client is doing a 1031 exchange, you know what's going to happen there. They are going to talk to their CPA and they're going to talk to their wealth advisor. Well, guess who needs to also talk to a CPA and a wealth advisor? You and I as brokers. Why? Because what these people say, we want to understand the language and then also provide a service and say, hey, there's maybe another CPA you should consider, or maybe you should talk to this other wealth advisor, or let's combine everything they have said and see what the market can truly do for the exchange of properties. Like a simple terminology, ROI, return on investment, and so forth. These are all language codes that are used in the investment world. What am I going to get my return on investment? What's the percentage? Is it a good percentage? Is it a cap? And so forth. How much cash flow? How much debt do we need to leverage? And so forth. But we as brokers have to provide a service to our investors. Investors are found in new home sales. Investors are found in fix and flip businesses. Investors are found of those who, like we mentioned, have careers somewhere else and consider real estate as a hedge, and they buy and buy. Wall Street as an investor is also in real estate space. And if you follow stats and data, you know, hedge funds are buying more and more real estate year over year because they've considered it a great hedge and a great return on an investment. So we as brokers, we have to equip ourselves with services, people, network to facilitate, again, our client that comes to us with these needs. And I know a lot of people who own more than one home. I know a lot of people who own more rental properties and they want to keep building their pool. And they reach out to us and they say, hey, you know what? I have 3 homes. Now I want to buy a 4th one. And then you sit down and you have to coordinate with them. Oh, okay, so what are you doing here? Are you going to refi here? How are we going to structure this? What's the timing factor? What's the lease? What's the rent? How does the insurance policy works? How are you going to get the loan? All of these structures that surround that client to make that next jump in the investment world, we have to be as brokers equipped. We have to understand how to help lead the client. But if we ourselves are not knowledgeable in these areas, then the chances of that investor sticking around with us as a broker are very slight. When you don't understand how to move capital from one place to another to a third, then we're not really doing any good. So again, takeaways. The bank that you're banking at, whether Bank of America, Chase, doesn't matter, they all have a business development sector, business banking. Sit down with that business banker. Start to talk about how people invest money just on a banking level. Then go sit down with a private money capital guy. Talk to them about how they put money in private capital. Then sit down with a loan officer that deals with institutional money. Sit down with somebody who does just regular loans. Start these conversations that have to do everything around money. All of these people, a lot of these people, on a day-to-day basis, all they're doing is moving money around. So they understand the money game. We as brokers, we move money around, but plus product. So we have a product, which is real estate, and then money just flows through that product with that client. So takeaways. Study money. Study the language of money. Study the flow of money. Take a couple courses with your CPA or wealth advisor on seeing how money flows. Even if you don't have the money yourself. And I've sat down, when I just started, I didn't have any money, but I still sat down with these wealth advisors. I still sat down with these CPAs. Why? Because I wanted to learn. And the more I learned, the more I was able to be any good to myself and to my clients. Yes, over the years, I have elevated to these spaces myself. But it's so important that what you don't know, you go learn. And then once you learn it, you're able to be a good service to your clients. Thank you, and we'll see you here next time.